What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Thursday, July 18th, 2024, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now it is 16:22 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and from here in the United States. I want to update you guys on the situation with Trump. But before I get into that, we have some more important news to report to you from Europe and from Asia and also from here in the US. So we currently have US nuclear forces on high alert right now. We currently have a US B-52 nuclear bomber flying over Canada, and we also have a B-52 flying over upstate New York, and it was looping over the Adirondack Mountains of upstate New York all afternoon near the Five Ponds Wilderness area, and it is now heading over Pennsylvania. We also had a nuclear war command and control plane up in the air. We also had a combat sentinel up in the air and a nuke sniffer, a constant phoenix. Now, the nuke sniffer can detect radiation in the atmosphere. The combat sentinel can pick up radar emissions and pinpoint their location, and they can send that information directly to the president and the Joint Chiefs. We only have 2 combat sentinels in the Air Force, so if one of them is up in the air, it means something serious is going on. My guess is that Russia turned on some of their over-the-horizon radars, and they probably wanted to get a beat on them, and I'm not sure why the nuke sniffer's up in the air or the B-52s, but we also had an emergency action message, which is a nuclear attack option, come in this afternoon just about an hour ago, directed to one of these nuclear bombers, these B-52s. Now, this is extremely unusual, guys, to see a B-52 flying over Canada. Okay, this is an American bomber, nuclear bomber, part of our nuclear triad. The B-52 can carry the AGM-86 air-launched cruise missiles, which have a range of over 2,500 miles. And they carry the W-80 thermonuclear warhead, which has a blast yield of 175 kilotons, and they can carry 20 of these AGM-86 air-launched cruise missiles, each one of the bombers, and we have over 50 of them officially in our nuclear triad. So this thing is flying right over Regina, Saskatchewan now. This is extremely concerning, guys. It took off from Barksdale Air Force Base, which is home of Air Force Global Strike Command. That's the home base of the air leg of our nuclear triad. This is very, very concerning, guys. I'm very concerned about this, so I'll continue to monitor that and update you as necessary. We also have some very concerning activity over Poland. Right now, we have an American RQ-4 Global Hawk reconnaissance drone doing hundreds of loops over northern and eastern Poland, patrolling Poland's border with Russia and Belarus. Now, in addition to that, we had a sub-hunter off the coast of Poland and Kaliningrad, and we also had several AWACS planes over Poland. This is like the 3rd night in a row where NATO sent AWACS planes into Poland. Now, normally, when they send AWACS planes into Poland, they send them into southeastern Poland, right next to Ukraine, in order to help Ukraine detect incoming Russian cruise missiles. But the last couple of days, they've been sending them up into northern Poland and central Poland, which is very strange. Okay, so here you can see one NATO AWACS plane flying in central Poland. Looks like it's looping here just south of Łódź, the city of Łódź, and it looks like it's doing touch and goes here at this airport. Looks like some kind of a base, not sure exactly which base this is. NATO and the US have created a lot of advanced air bases in Poland over the last 5 to 10 years. So this is very concerning, and here we have a shot from earlier this afternoon showing the Constant Phoenix plane over Wisconsin. The Combat Sentinel did a big loop over the Great Lakes, and then here you can see the Nuclear War Command and Control plane over Montana, and then the two B-52s here, one over Kansas, one over the Adirondacks. And then this was earlier this afternoon. You can see two NATO AWACS planes here, one over northern Poland near Gdańsk, near the Polish-Baltic Sea, and then one down here by Częstochowa, which is a historical city in Poland, closer to the Czech Republic. But this is very rare, guys. And then we also had a sub-hunter doing numerous loops off the coast of Lithuania and Poland, and then also up in Estonia. And here we have the emergency action message that went out to one of those B-52s just about an hour ago. This is a nuclear attack option, okay? And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply is doing a discount on their 1-month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewithnyprepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video. This is a 1-month freeze-dried food supply. It has a 25-year shelf life. Normal price is $237. They've dropped it down to $177. So that's a savings of $60. And it's all packed within 2 rugged, water-resistant buckets. Free shipping is included. $177 for 1 month of food. Where are you going to find a deal like that? They also have a general store, and they're always running discounts in their general store on various prepping and survival items. They have everything from MREs, potassium iodide, to survival seeds. And to get to their general store, you got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo at the top of the page when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com. And you'll see when you get there, they have everything you can imagine. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $60 off the My Patriot Supply 1-month emergency food supply. That's $180 for 1 month of food, free shipping included. The link is in the description below this video. And also check out their general store. They have everything you can imagine prepping and survival related, and they're always running various discounts there. Going out to one of these B-52s.
November, hotel. I say again, 4 Pyrex, 4 Pyrex, 4.
So the way you can tell that it's going out to a bomber is when they say like 4 and then some kind of a call sign. In this case, they say 4 Pyrex, 4 Pyrex. So Pyrex must be the call sign of one of those B-52s, okay?
Hotel. I say again, 4 Pyrex, 4 Pyrex, 4. Tango. Quebec. Delta. Oscar. Uniform. Sierra. Juliet. Sierra.
So I don't know what's going on, guys, but I'm going to monitor the situation and update you guys. We also have some very concerning information that China has apparently set up spy stations across Cuba with spy satellites, various types of satellites and signals intelligence assets. Apparently at least 4 of these facilities have been built in Cuba, and some of you guys have probably heard me play the Cuban spy station broadcasting instructions to sleeper agents in North America. And what's interesting is they have underground facilities at these spy facilities. Okay, so here you can see at least 5 entrances to underground facilities at this one particular signals intelligence facility in Cuba. This picture was taken by Maxar in March of this year. You can see satellite dishes here. You can see mobile trailers with satellite dishes on them. So this is like something out of a James Bond movie like GoldenEye, but I'm going to do a detailed analysis of these facilities on the next live stream. So make sure you tune in for that. We also have breaking news that apparently a top Russian official has issued a nuclear warning to NATO days after the U.S. announced that it would be stationing developmental hypersonic weapons in Europe. When asked whether Russia would deploy nuclear missiles in response to Washington's plan to deploy long-range fire capabilities in Germany, Sergei Rybakov, Russia's deputy foreign minister in charge of ties with the U.S. non-proliferation and arms control, told reporters in Moscow on Thursday that he does not rule out any options. Wow. Okay, so the U.S. is going to be deploying the Typhoon missile system and the Dark Eagle missile system. The Typhoon missile system was already deployed to the Philippines, and this is basically like a tractor trailer with missiles in the trailer, and they can erect the missiles. I think they can hold up to 2 missiles in the trailer, and they can erect the missiles and launch them from the trailer. So it's a mobile system already deployed in the Philippines to counter China. But the Typhoon system can launch both the Tomahawk missile and the SM-6 missile, which is a ballistic missile interceptor. Okay, so they can shoot down Russian hypersonic missiles and ballistic missiles fired at Europe. And then the Tomahawk missile is a cruise missile that is undetectable because it flies very low, and also it can carry the W-80 thermonuclear warhead, which has a blast yield of 175 kilotons. It can also carry various types of bunker busters and earth-penetrating warheads. And then also the U.S. is going to be deploying the Dark Eagle missile system, which is also a mobile missile, but it's a hypersonic missile developed by the Army. It has a range of over 2,500 miles, and it can reach speeds of Mach 17, and I believe it's also nuclear capable. They're going to be deploying that as well to Germany. So this is huge news, guys, okay? So let me just read to you some more information about this from Reuters. The U.S. and Germany said in a joint statement published July 10th that Washington will deploy longer-range missiles in Germany in 2026. I don't believe that. I think it's going to be much sooner than that. This will include SM-6, Tomahawk, and developmental hypersonic weapons, which have significantly longer range than current land-based fires in Europe, they said. The U.S. and Germany said exercising these advanced capabilities will demonstrate the U.S. commitment to NATO and its contributions to European integrated deterrence. If representatives of the federal government of Germany consider it justified to begin some escalatory measures under the pretext of what we have in the Kaliningrad region, then we will respond in terms of compensatory measures in the way that we consider most acceptable, Rybakov warned. Nothing is predetermined, including the further escalation of the situation, Rybakov told reporters. Unfortunately, for now, the West, under far-fetched pretexts, in search of reasons to attribute something to us, again from the point of view of an encroachment on its security, is following precisely this escalation path, he continued. This is regrettable, but it will not stop us from the point of view of solving the problems of ensuring our security along the entire perimeter of the Russian borders, including, of course, the zone of Ukraine. So very interesting, very serious. And the headquarters of the Ural Transmash company in Yekaterinburg in Russia, one of the most important Russian military-industrial complexes, is on fire. It is the only producer of self-propelled guns in Russia. And here we have some footage of that fire. We don't know what caused it, but again, the only producer of self-propelled guns in Russia. Those are the howitzers, self-propelled howitzers, okay? So long-range self-propelled artillery. And here we have some video footage coming out of Ukrainian supermarkets. You can see the shelves are completely wiped out, and the reason why is that Ukraine is now facing rolling blackouts up to 16 hours per day in sweltering heat. It's been 100 degrees in Eastern Europe the past few days, and the energy companies don't have enough power plants operational to generate enough electricity, so they have to shut down the power up to 16 hours per day across the country. This video was taken from Dnipropetrovsk. Very sad situation over there. Please pray for the people of Ukraine. Also, this winter is going to be extremely difficult for the Ukrainians because Russia has destroyed so much of their energy infrastructure. They've destroyed over 90% of Ukraine's thermal power plants, okay? So that is huge. And I'm very concerned that Putin could launch tactical nukes right before winter to try to fully break the back of the Ukrainian spirit. And the Polish Ministry of Defense said they will triple the number of soldiers on the border of Belarus. Currently, there's 15,000 Polish soldiers, so that would mean they would deploy up to 45,000 soldiers to the border of Belarus. That is absolutely huge. This announcement coming just about 2 weeks after Poland said they were going to be building this massive border fortification, which would be the largest border fortification since World War II. This is going to be a massive defense line along Poland's eastern border that Poland is calling Eastern Shield or Tarcza Wschód, and it's going to be as wide as 50 kilometers. It's going to include anti-tank trenches, anti-tank obstacles, minefields. They're going to also mine a lot of the bridges, all of the bridges along their border with Belarus as far back as 50 kilometers from the border, so they can remotely detonate them if a massive force of Russian soldiers and Belarusian soldiers and Chinese soldiers try to cross the border. They're also going to be building bunkers for civilians in the area up to 50 kilometers from the border in case of artillery duels. And they're also going to pre-position ammunition stocks for the Polish military. And they're also going to be building bunkers for the Polish military as well. Okay, so this is very, very serious, guys. The situation is escalating rapidly. And Ursula von der Leyen, the European Union president, was elected for another 5-year term. And what's interesting is this came just a day after she was convicted by the European Union Court of Justice of some conflict of interest because her husband was a board member on the board of Pfizer, and she was pushing the mRNA vaccines in Europe. And so basically the European Court of Justice accused her of basically getting kickbacks from the deal with Pfizer, okay, because she was pushing the Pfizer vaccine, and her husband is, I guess, on the board or somehow, very high up connected with Pfizer, okay? So we know the New World Order is very active in Europe, and this is clearly a New World Order maneuver to re-elect her. She's not popular at all in Europe. And the Lithuanian parliament voted in favor of withdrawing from the Oslo Accord, which prohibits members from manufacturing, stockpiling, and using cluster munitions. Okay, so Lithuania is going to start producing cluster munitions. Absolutely crazy. Another sign that Europe is preparing for war with Russia. And Ukrainian President Zelensky signed a bilateral security deal with Slovenia and also met with the Serbian President Alexander Vučić, who just about a month ago predicted that World War III could break out as soon as September. So here we have a picture of Vučić with Zelensky. Very, very interesting. And we also have some breaking news coming in from the Middle East. So we're hearing that there were some kabooms in Iraq at weapons depots belonging to Iran-backed militias. And this comes just a day after U.S. forces shot down 2 drones over the Al-Assad air base housing American troops. There's no comment from the U.S. on this kaboom in Iraq at the weapons depot, but I'm sure it was U.S. forces that conducted this strike. And U.S. and British coalition aircraft carried out a qualitative military operation against a strategic Houthi target at the Hodeidah International Airport. 3 airstrikes were launched in the early morning hours this morning, okay? So the U.S. struck this weapons depot in Iraq, and they also carried out strikes in Yemen. And then also Israel launched a massive strike in southern Lebanon. And what you're looking at here is a photo showing a massive plume of smoke in the air after this strike in southern Lebanon by Israel. And yesterday, the Israeli Defense Minister, Yoav Gallant, said that they could start their operation in Lebanon any day they want. The battle plans have already been drawn up and approved. They just need the green light from Netanyahu. Everything is in position. Here we have pictures coming out of Yemen showing these strikes on the airport there in Hodeidah. We also had a U.S. sub-hunter patrolling the eastern Mediterranean off the coast of Israel and Lebanon. And senior Democrats believe that Joe Biden may withdraw from the presidential race as soon as this weekend. We know that Biden said that he had COVID and he was going to Delaware to take a few days to rest. But I personally don't believe that he has COVID. I think he just said that because he needs time to decide what he wants to do. We know that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have already said to Biden that he should withdraw because it's going to be catastrophic for Democrats if he doesn't withdraw, and they're trying to pressure him to withdraw. So Biden is now in Delaware trying to decide, does he continue the race or does he drop out? And Fox News has learned that senators were told in the all-member briefing today that Thomas Crooks wrote on a gaming platform called Steam that July 13th will be my premiere. Watch as it unfolds. When investigators reviewed his laptop, they found a few searches in July of Trump, Biden, when is DNC convention, and July 13 Trump rally. He also searched for Attorney General Merrick Garland and FBI Director Christopher Wray. Thomas Crooks also had typed in major depressive disorder and searched for dates and places for appearances of both Biden and Trump. So isn't that weird, guys? That he was looking for Biden and Trump appearances, not just Trump. So, I think this whole situation is just really, really strange, and I don't buy the official narrative that there was this one guy on the roof. His name was Thomas Crooks. He didn't like Trump, blah, blah, blah. I really don't believe that. I think that Thomas Crooks could be just the fall guy and a made-up person, okay, and the real shooter is someone else. I mean, it's just really bizarre because everybody said that Thomas Crooks was conservative. His classmates, people who knew him, they said that he was conservative and that he wasn't a good shooter. He got kicked off his high school rifle team. And then all of a sudden he pulls off these shots on Trump and, tries to take out a very conservative presidential candidate. Or not very conservative, but, Republican. Just doesn't add up. A lot of things don't add up. And the response by police and Secret Service being so slow and just not doing their due diligence or exercising due care when planning this Trump rally. They put him right out in the open next to all these private businesses on the main road that the Secret Service did not have control over. They did not sweep those buildings out. They did not close off access to those buildings, okay? Yet they put him out in the open right on the main road there, and we covered that in the last live stream. I'll go over that more in the next live stream. And I am planning a field investigation to the site where this all happened, so that's going to be coming soon. And investigators have found no evidence of a particular ideology which the FBI believes is notable, and nobody in interviews reported Crooks discussing politics. The suspect had 2 cell phones. A primary phone was recovered from the scene, along with a remote detonator for explosives in his vehicle. And a secondary cell phone was found at his home. It had only 27 contacts, and the FBI is in the process of tracking down and interviewing those people. So, very strange situation. And Xi Jinping, the president of China, still has not made any public appearances since news came out a few days ago that he suffered a severe stroke. We now have news coming out that the third plenary session of the Communist Party of China was presided over by the Central Political Bureau, and they heard and discussed the work report delivered by Xi Jinping on behalf of the Central Political Bureau, or Politburo. This could indicate that Xi Jinping has been replaced possibly by a guy by the name of Tsai Ki, who hosted the meeting after Xi was sent to the hospital. This is being reported by Chinese investigative journalist Jennifer Zhang, and the Chinese internet search engine Baidu has apparently blocked the search term stroke. Okay, so they're now blocking stroke as a search term in China on Chinese internet search engines, and we have some guy by the name of Kai Ki or Sai Ki, I don't know how to say it, who replaced Xi Jinping as the president possibly. Okay, so I'm going to be monitoring this, and I will update you guys with any developments that I have. And the Philippine ambassador to America said that the Philippines has bipartisan support in confronting developments in the South China Sea. And China sent more warplanes and warships to Taiwan in the past 24 hours. 20 Chinese warplanes and 6 Chinese warships were spotted around Taiwan, with 10 of the warplanes entering Taiwan's ADIZ, or Air Defense Identification Zone. And in Taiwan, there was a huge kaboom at a resin factory. As many as 79 fire trucks responded. No injuries were reported. The cause is under investigation. I would not doubt that this was the work of Chinese saboteurs. And a representative of the U.S. Army will work full-time in the Armenian Ministry of Defense. So, very interesting. The U.S. cozying up with Armenia. They're doing military exercises right now. This is a huge loss for Russia. Russia has always wanted to maintain control of the Caucasus because it's a barrier from the Middle East and any kind of invasion that could come from the southern direction. Now they're losing control of the Caucasus. Okay, Armenia is now siding with the U.S. and they want to join NATO. And we've seen in the last few months a lot of chaos in Dagestan and Chechnya. So, very bad situation for Russia. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be monitoring our nuclear forces to see what they're up to. We do have this B-52 flying deep into Saskatchewan right now. This is extremely unusual. So I'm very, very concerned about that. Looks like it might be doing a bombing run all the way up in the Arctic. It might be doing a mission all the way up to the Russian border possibly. We'll have to keep an eye on it. But until later on, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere. Guys, countless people are mistaking private browsing tabs as a way to stay anonymous online. Even with private browsing mode enabled, you can still be tracked by websites and internet service providers. Also, your data is still at risk if you are using unsecured or public Wi-Fi hotspots. That's why I've been protecting my privacy and data with Virtual Shield VPN. I sleep well at night knowing that my data and privacy is not exposed to governments, hackers, and big tech. And if you use the link in the description below this video, which is virtualshield.com/deals/NYPrepper, you can get 70% off and a 60-day risk-free trial. With Virtual Shield's anonymous browsing, a strict no-log policy, unlimited bandwidth, and built-in malware and ad blocking, Virtual Shield also has 24/7 customer support and was built in the USA. So start protecting yourself today. Use the link in the description, which is virtualshield.com/deals/NYPrepper to get 70% off and a 60-day risk-free trial.